Really a very good pass indeed by Courier, lifting the ball high over the net, not hitting too hard. And just one load of topspin.
Courier.
Back in front again, 6-5 up, Courier.
Courier führt 6-5, 6-5.
My own feeling is that what we're seeing here, what we've been seeing in the last 5 or 10 minutes from Courier, this inability to close out the match, is the result of so many matches, certainly this year, that he likewise hasn't been able to finish from a winning position. And just to recap on a few of those that we talked about at the start of this match, he was 2 sets up to Agassi in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open, and he lost. In the quarterfinals of the French, he was 2 sets up. That was to Sampras, and he lost. And I think, you know, you suddenly begin to lose self-belief when you've got a match there for the taking and you can't take it.
Well, enormous applause for both players. They really put on a show here, I think. This crowd here in Munich have been starved of 3-set matches. They've only had one up to this one. And they've got a real humdinger going now. The tennis itself has become more and more intelligent. No mindless hitting from the back of the court now.
Another German on court.
Just hope this clamour doesn't affect Kafelnikov's nerves. He must serve sensibly now. We haven't seen this very often, actually, the clean wrong footing shot there.
Grazie, 30-15.
Very lucky for Kafelnikov. This would have been right in the Courier hitting zone if it had gone normally over the net.
Kafelnikov.
6 games all, no tiebreak. Why no tiebreak when they play tiebreaks in final sets at nearly all the tournaments on the ATP Tour, the men's circuit all the year, because this comes under the International Tennis Federation and the Grand Slams. And at the Grand Slams, it's only at the US Open where they play a tiebreak in the final set.
0-15, lag 15.
Wonder if he changed his mind then. So often a fatal thing to do halfway through a shot.
Bitte Ruhe, danke. No, 30, lag 30.
Well, this can happen, but I think probably the enormous noise the crowd was making must have disturbed Courier. Isn't that amazing? At the end of all this time and all these games, they won exactly the same number of points. Courier's got a major problem now. Key point right now.
Centralized. 15-30. Fünfzehn, 40. 15-40.
That's his best shot. In fact, if it hadn't been for the serve, his service, always 30 double faults, I would say he was a better player. He's going to serve for the match here. 7-6, kafelnikov in the lead, final set.
7-6.
Alka-Seltzer. When you've eaten something you shouldn't have.
Fünfzehn 0. 15 love. Drei signal. 30 love.
Well, he's finding this distracting.
Bitte. Danke. First. 40 0.
Furious, didn't he? 40 love and 3 match points.
Well, for sure, that sort of noise doesn't help your concentration, but it's the same for both players. You have to live with it in Germany.
Return.
Kafelnikov goes through the semi-finals, 13 double faults, and yet he still did it. Courier cracked really in the end. I think that was the truth. I think what with the crowd and the fact that he somehow lost all his rhythm and all his self-belief when he had a chance to serve out for the match. And so the semi-finals are Henman against Becker and Kafelnikov against Ivanisevic over 5 sets, best of 5 sets.
Yeah, and that could be interesting, couldn't it? Such a different, such a combination of different styles there, those two. In fact, the whole semi-final scene is very interesting indeed. And of course we have Tim Henman there as well. I feel sorry for Jim Courier because he fought his heart out, he really did. And at the end, it just fizzled away from him, and the crowd, I don't think, helped him in the last few minutes. For Kafelnikov, he's always a joy for me to watch anyway because of that just wonderful backhand. And it'll be good to see him again tomorrow.
And clearly, Evgeny, well, I was going to say clearly he's a happy man, but he's not there. Showing some respect for Jim Courier. Jim was deeply disappointed at the end, I think probably in his own performance, but people bothering him in the crowd a little bit as well. When you push to the limit, little things do start irritating you. So Courier's out, Kafelnikov advances. We'll have a quick look at these statistics as before we come back. It's 55% first serves in, very, very low for Kafelnikov. He had his troubles there. Way too many unforced errors as well, but he was taking the match to Courier, and it's a considerable amount more winners to go with those unforced errors. Yes, a good result for Kafelnikov there, considering that Courier, Peter Fleming, was, well, he was well involved in it. He wanted to win it.
He did. At least one thing is certain, that Courier wants to play, and he wants to be a great player again. But there's something about him that struck me that really, you know, he doesn't have the same flow that he used to have. You know, he had that arrogance where he was the best, and when you feel that way, the energy just flows through you. And now he seems so restricted in all his movements, that he's breathing so hard, and you know, it takes so much effort for every shot that you know, you cannot be #1 in the world expending that much effort.
I was going to say, final of the French Open 3 times in a row from '91, semi-finalist in 1994, back-to-back Aussie Open champ in '92, '93, and a winner in runner-up at the US Open and final of Wimbledon. So, you know, he's just lost an edge, hasn't he?
I think so. I think that's the only way you can say it is, you know, he lost that edge, and he's struggling to get it back, and you know, it's very difficult to get it back. Once you've lost it, I don't think he'll ever challenge again for #1.
I still think 26 is a slightly false ranking for him, though, which is what he's at the moment.
Well, I'd agree with that. Yeah, he'll go up higher than 26, I'm sure. Well, of that game, but serving for the match is such a huge point.
And there's the limitation of the Courier forehand sometimes.
Now that shot, when he was #1 in the world, that shot would have, that off forehand that Courier just hit there would have penetrated through the court, and Kafelnikov would have had to hit a slice backhand. But now Courier doesn't quite have that abandon that he used to have, and the ball comes off his racket maybe 5 miles an hour slower,